Hello and welcome to People Human Rights. This is our 39th video where we will be talking about generations. The generation. What is a generation? Generation is a group of people who adopt the same behavior for a certain time. There are small generations, for example, people of the same age or people with whom you went to school at that time and so on. But there are much longer generations. So we will start with numbers 14. I recommend you to read number 14, 14 in full. I will read verse 18. You should start with verse 33, and so you should start with verse 33, I recommend, and then you can go back and read the full chapter. Okay, so let's read number 14. Numbers 14, verse 18. Jehovah is slow to anger and abundant in goodness, forgiving iniquity and transgression, but by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, upon the third or fourth generations. Okay. So, yeah, God doesn't say you are not you are not guilty. No, He doesn't say to the guilty you are not guilty. You the the fault needs to be expired, to needs to be punished. Okay. So when he doesn't close his eyes, things happen, eyes are closed, no one saying anything, everything is closed. No, God is not like that. He is the Creator, He is the Almighty. He will come talk to you and punish you. And if you don't want anyway to obey, if He gives you some time, you still do what you are doing, the more you wait to stop, the more the punishment will be strong. So, for example, if we read Genesis 6, verse 3, Genesis 6, verse 3, Then the Lord said, My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years. Okay. Bon. Each rule has its exceptions. God can make a gift of life to people or something else. But, and the translation is years. So is it year? 1 year equal 12 months, or don't know. We just take it as it is. Suppose it is 1 year equal 12 months. Which means, and we take one generation. So we take a generation, everyone lives till 120 years. Okay, this is our generation. This is the generation I will take for example. Okay, but this generation sins. That generation is an evil generation and does very evil things. And so of course God is not happy. The Eternal is not happy. And but they don't want, they still keep on doing. They teach the same thing to their children from generation to generation. So the next generation, 120 years, does the same thing. Their grandchildren do the same thing, and so on and so on. So if for one generation the eternal, after this generation is gone, the eternal, at the time he starts to punish, sometimes he doesn't punish straight away, sometimes he can wait, he can even wait many years, but there's a time he will start to punish that behavior. So if at one point, if these people, evil people, only that generation of 120 years, for God to punish, to clear that sin, let's take on 5 generations, that means that he will punish for 120 years, he punishes during 600 years for that generation. But if their children do the same, the generation of their children, their fault needs to be punished also during 600 years. And so on, and so on, and so on. So, if some people, the same people, from generation to generation, sin, for example, during 700 years or 1,000 years, imagine the number of years it will take for the eternal, once he starts to punish, to actually punish that sin. So, let's just read another verse. Matthew 16, verse 4. Matthew 16, verse 4. This one is about the Christ. He's talking to people he's dealing with. he says, a wicked and adulterous generation looks for a sign, for a miracle, but none will be given it except the sign of Jonas. So he left them and went away. So that Jonas we are talking about here is God's prophet, is Jonas. God wanted to send him to Nineveh and to tell those people to stop what they are doing and things and things. And but the Jonas was afraid to go to Nineveh because he knew that those people were evil. And say, God, they will, I don't know what they will do with me. Do. And he, okay. God looks at him. So one day, Jonas is under his tree, on the seashore, on the beach. There's how do you call that? A whale, yeah. That big fish, sorry, who comes, who swallows him, and who swims to Nineveh and threw him at Nineveh, so that he must do what God asked him to do. And so God means, it means by like that when the Eternal says something, you need to obey, because the Eternal has many ways to come after you. Okay. So, now, let's take an example. If, for example, there's a child who is just born, but somehow, there's always evil people around, and there's an evil person who is because of that person, the child is normal. So, can you imagine that karma on that person, but also on that evil person, and also maybe on all his family, because that person, he makes first, he did, he was evil with the baby itself. He makes the mother suffer, the parents, the family, not only the family, maybe all the town, all the country, or all, you see, all that suffering. So he's the cause of waste, because they prepared that birth, they bought clothes for the child, some had to borrow money, they prepared the events, the feast, everything. And all the suffering is in the air, all the waste is in the air, and there is also new expenses because there's the expenses of the burial and everything. And all these, it's so much suffering for many people, and everything is in the air. The bad atmosphere in the air. And if that, if what happened affects many generations, imagine that suffering in the air for many generations. But the atmosphere, the air cannot stay with bad atmosphere because it is the air that regulates the atmosphere. The nature regulates the atmosphere. Because everything is on cycle. For example, it is the trees who produce oxygen for people to be able to breathe, to live. And oxygen against, for example, the bad gas, for example. It is the atmosphere the nature who produces the azote, the gas, for the, for the for above, yeah. So it is the water who washes dirt. It is so the atmosphere is always regulating itself. And anyway, the nature doesn't like bad vibrations. So that evil vibrations needs at some point to be cleared. And how to clear that? To clear that is to reduce it, to send it back to its origin. To reduce it, as we say, returns in the egg. See, it goes back at the source. So, same way, other way around. Till that person, and it's whatsoever. But if that regeneration of the nature happens years after, if many generations were affected by that trauma and prayed the eternal and suffered, and so by the time first what is in the atmosphere has increased, and it goes back now to its origin, to that person and family or descendants. Yeah, to that evil person descendant. So we just have to read Genesis 1. Let's read Genesis 1, verse 1 to 3. Genesis 1, verse 1 to 3. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Both, maybe something else. So, from where he was, let's read first. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Yeah, God doesn't like the darkness. That's not what he created. Imagine when he created the heaven. Heaven is not a place of darkness. But when he walks, he sees the earth. I need to do something there to put it in better condition. So that's when he started to take care of the earth and to create everything, the trees, the man, etc. So darkness cannot overcome light anyway, in any way. At some point, darkness will be put away, cleared. There's no other way. So that was for this video. See you at the next video.